morning, guys.
And welcome to the
Hollaby
Hollaby Homestead. Hey guys, it's a beautiful day here at the Hollaby Homestead. Today I'm going to be harvesting some herbs out of the garden and dehydrating them, and I'll show you how to do that. I got my harvesting basket here. Let's start this. So I'm going to start with cilantro actually, because it's the shortest to dry in the dehydrator. So I'm going to cut them about 2 to 3 inches above the soil, and they will grow back, but they won't grow as fast as the first time, so keep that in mind. So once they're dehydrated, they'll last up to a year. And this is kind of how I like to preserve things like this, because I find I never eat it in time when it's fresh. So my next step is I'm going to, well, I already filled the sink up with water. I'm going to put some vinegar in it, and that's how I'm going to wash the cilantro. You definitely don't want to skip this step. If there's worms or slugs on it, the vinegar will definitely get it out of the plant. So I'm going to put it in the sink now. There we go. I'm going to leave that soak for a little bit, and then we'll come back and have a look at it. Now that it's been in the sink for a couple minutes, I'm going to take it out and put on a paper towel and dry it really good. You want it really as dry as you can get it before you put it in the dehydrator, just because if you don't, it takes longer, obviously. So I'm going to take it out of the sink now. My whole kitchen smells like cilantro right now. It smells pretty good, actually. So here's the cilantro out on paper towels here. That's kind of the best way I thought to dry them. I'm sure there's other ways, but I just want to show you in the sink here after I took it out. Look at all the dirt and all the bugs in there. So vinegar and water does work really well. Vinegar and salt works well too. So some people actually don't like the taste of cilantro. I myself, I find it a bit strong, so this is why I dry it, because when you dry it, it's actually not as strong tasting, and you can still enjoy it, but it's not overpowering. So I've dried this now, and I'm gonna load up the dehydrator with them. So it's okay when you put them on the trays here, if the leaves are touching, they won't stick to each other when it dries, unlike other things. So ironically, this morning, Dave's like, oh, we should get a second dehydrator so that we can dehydrate a bunch of things at once. And I was like, oh no, we don't need that. Anyways, it looks like I picked too much cilantro, so I'm going to use the rest of it fresh and dehydrate all that I can fit in the dehydrator. So here we go. First, I'll put the lid on. And you want about 110, but I go a little bit higher because this dehydrator, I've noticed you have to go a little bit higher in the temperatures with it. I'm going to turn it on. I guess I need two hands to turn it on. And so that will take 4 to 5 hours, but come back and check it. You want them to be dry and crispy, the leaves. And once we reach that point, we'll go from there. So while we're waiting for the cilantro to dehydrate, I'm just up on the balcony now. I'm going to pull these zinnias out and carry them downstairs and put them in our planters because I think they're finally ready. So I find with zinnias, they take forever to get started, and then once they get to this point, they start growing pretty fast. You want a few leaves on them before you transplant them. The nice thing about zinnias is that they're another pest repellent, so I like to mix it in my veggie garden and my flower garden, and they have some really pretty flowers. So I'm going to plant these zinnias at the back of these raised beds here. I saved some room when I was planting the marigolds.
That's the big thing to do with that, yeah, but tape doesn't work. Tape doesn't hold it back. No.
The zinnias are all planted along the back of these planters. They grow really tall, so the reason I put them on the back there is so they can lean up against this railing. So I found another kind of hosta at the front yard that I'm going to dig up to put in that bathtub too. It's smaller and it looks different. So here's the final results. I had to stake up the other hostas with zip ties because my baler twine is missing. So that's my redneck fix of the day. I just wanted them staked up so they didn't rot on the soil. And here's the striped hostas that I got from the front yard. I think once it settles in, it'll look pretty nice. I had to wait for that caterpillar to move. So I've traced out our letters on this tub here, and I'm going to try painting it white, but if it doesn't work, then I'm just going to color it in black. But we'll see how it goes. So the white didn't cover as well as what I thought it would. I actually really don't like it. I think I'll wait for it to dry, maybe try wiping it off, and then I think I'm just going to color the letters in black. I think that would look the best. So there we go, that's what it looks like finished. I really like how this turned out. So while I've been working in the garden, Dave and his friend have been working on our water system, so I'm going to show you that.
So yeah, me and my buddy put a new pressure vessel in. The old one here, it's waterlogged, I guess is what you call it. It is very heavy. I'm gonna have to take that out at some point. But this is the new one, bigger and better. We put in a new safety switch for the pump, so it if the water for some reason ever we ran out of water in the well, it just automatically turns the pump on. It's like a sensor thing. And then over here we're gonna be putting our filter, and then I gotta put another bracket up there for UV light, but we're gonna do that probably next weekend. So I might be able to catch a video on that next weekend or when. So this is the bracket for the filter, and then the filter screws up something like that. It screws onto it, and that's gonna go right there. And then the UV light, we're still waiting for that to come, like I said, and that's gonna go something like right here.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to wrap up my video by checking out how the dehydrator's doing. I think at least a couple of rows are done, and I'm going to pull those out for you. So I just turned this off. Let's try one. Okay, do you hear how like crispy that is? I'd say it's done. So the thing about cilantro is that you can't really like over dry it in a dehydrator, but I mean there's no point in running it too much. So I'm gonna put this in a little mason jar because I don't have that much of it. And what this is good for, like I talked about, some people don't like the strong taste of cilantro, so this kind of dulls it down a little bit. So you can put this like in rice or with eggs or soup, and use it kind of like a flavorful topping, if that makes sense. So that one seems a little bit wet. I think I'm gonna leave that one, but this is crispy. So I suggest leaving them like in full leaves until you're ready to use them, because it keeps the flavor. And so yeah, I'm gonna fill up this jar. So I'm gonna leave the rest of that to dehydrate, but got a nice little jar here of dehydrated cilantro. Anyways, if you like what you see, like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube at the Holby Homestead. We'll see you next time.